Bulavinaka, my name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tabua. We love Today FM in Tabua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selina, I'm from Tavenga Vengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Pula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM, in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news tonight, LTA issues stern warning to bus industry. Fijian economy hit hard by NCDs. And unions ready to hold talks.
And finally,
from the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
Bus drivers and companies have been warned they'll lose their licenses or permits if they fail to adhere to the e-ticketing system. The warning comes from the LTA following continuing complaints from the public about some buses not complying with the system despite it being compulsory. Akusita Tale reports 6 bus operators will meet with the LTA tomorrow to explain why some are not picking up passengers.
Despite numerous calls and warnings from authorities to comply with the e-ticketing system, some drivers are still leaving passengers stranded at bus bays.
to report the bus operators where this is happening, and also asking them to come in and show cause. We are doing a number of operators tomorrow, where we'll be calling them in for show cause in relation to not picking up passengers or not complying with their permit requirements.
NCDs says the public as well as bus operators and drivers should be aware the LTA is taking non-compliance very seriously. Once the LTA has heard from the operators, their reasons for the poor service will then be forwarded to the board for decision on their licenses and permits.
If they don't comply with for example, e-ticketing, the requirements for e-ticketing, that we will recommend that they be reported to the Ministry of Communications, who are the enforcers of e-ticketing, and ensuring that they comply. Now, there's heavy penalties associated with not complying, not only on the operators, but also on the drivers.
Fiji Bus Operators Association General Secretary Rohit Lachin says they've directed all operators to comply with the system and any non-compliance should be reported to the LTA. Attorney General Ayaz Said Qayyum says there will be heavy penalties.
Should there be any breach of the law also provides various penalties, both for the drivers and also the bus operators themselves. So we'll ensure that whoever is breaching the law will face the full brunt of the law.
So if a bus refuses to pick you up, your best bet is to report the bus and the route to the LTA. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
We now cross live to Akusita Tale, who has been following up on the e-ticketing system. Akusita, a lot of time and investment has been spent on its implementation. Now, we understand some bus operators have come forward praising the system. However, there's still some issues of e-card top-ups. Can you explain more?
Yes, Jackie, this afternoon, Tembara Transport, which services most parts of the Central Division, and Sunbeam Transport told FBC News that the e-ticketing system has eased a lot of problems in terms of administration works. Tembara Transport has also opened a new e-ticketing hotline, encouraging passengers to contact them if they face any e-ticketing issues. However, an issue of e-card top-up outlets in rural areas was brought up by Sunbeam Transport this afternoon. Responding to FBC News questions, Vodafone Fiji Limited says outlets for e-transport card top-ups should be available in most rural areas in the next 2 weeks. At present, there have been reports that there are no top-up outlets available in along some parts of the King's Highway, in the interior, in some parts of the interior of Nandronga, and also some parts in the interior of Vanuatu. There are currently 1,000 operational top-up agencies for e-cards. However, Vodafone says they hope to have 1,200 in the next fortnight. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Akusita. The Land Transport Authority will increase their visibility along with police assistance to ensure Fijians are provided with the bus services they require. Chief Executive Carmen Piantadosi says with bus drivers operating according to the new e-ticketing system, it's important to provide standard services.
We're out there, we've been out there every day. We've also engaged and recruited, asked for the support of police as well. So we're making ourselves very visible. The primary objective is to make sure that people are getting the service they request or require from the bus operators, and drivers and operators are complying with the new legislation.
A study conducted by the World Health Organization has revealed that the Fijian economy lost over $250 million in 2015 due to non-communicable diseases. That amounted to an average of about $310 per Fijian, a high cost for a nation like ours. Pranita Prakash has more.
Diabetes, stroke, heart disease and cancer accounts for 1/4 of all health expenditure.
And we also see that health expenditures in Fiji are increasing and steadily increasing. 32% increase over the period 2007-2012. Okay, now that's not just because of non-communicable diseases, but given their share in the expenditure, we can quite, reasonably link the non-communicable disease epidemic to this soaring health expenditures in Fiji.
Significant action is needed to control risk factors affecting Fijians.
Smoking, the unhealthy diet, the misuse of alcohol and physical inactivity. If we can improve all of these, then we can really reduce the burden of NCDs. The fact that NCDs is largely preventable has now been recognised in the Sustainable Development Goals, that we have a target now for 2030, that we should be reducing the premature mortality, which is those who die before the age of 70, by 1/3 by 2030.
A call has also been made for people to change their lifestyle.
I want us all today to think of ourselves not only as Fijians but consumers. And consumers, looking at yourself as a consumer, to me, is key to our fight against NCD.
The annual mortality rate per 100,000 people from non-communicable diseases in Fiji has increased by 44.9% since 1990, an average of 2% a year and only on the rise, something that needs an urgent attention to safeguard our population. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Trade unions today revealed they're ready to meet the government and find a solution for workers' concerns. With the unions ready to come to the table, the Employment Ministry says it's willing to hold discussions, and the Fiji Human Rights Commission is ready to facilitate the talks. Rachel Nath with this report.
The talks about a strike action developed following government's initiative to put civil servants on contracts. However, the terms of these contracts didn't settle well with the employers, who have now come out to say they are willing to talk.
Our door is open anytime, willing to negotiate, as long as it's a negotiation. It is not a directive or a listening exercise. Negotiation is between two parties with equal strength, equal listening exercise and attitude.
The Employment Ministry is also willing to have discussions on this matter. As the Minister says, any action of strike would have a direct impact on Fijians accessing healthcare and education.
There will continue to be a strong emphasis on getting the parties to meet, try to discuss the issues, so that any strike action or lockout is always the last resort. We hope that people can, employers and the unions can sit down and discuss and come up with a win-win type of solution.
The Fiji Human Rights and Anti-Discrimination Commission has volunteered to come on board and help these parties iron out their issues.
I think it's significant that, given the fact that unions claim that nobody's been listening to them, that they have made every effort. I think it's important that they raise their concerns in an independent, neutral space where the National Human Rights Commission is more than willing to facilitate discussions between government and union and the Ministry of Labour, if necessary.
Earlier, the Minister for Civil Servants, A.R. Said Kiyum, ruled out the action of strike as unlawful and invalid because a secret ballot was rejected by the Registrar of Trade Unions under the Employment Ministry due to its failure to meet requirements under the Employment Regulation Amendment 2015. Rachel Nath, FBC News.
Still to come, child labour a major concern for Fiji. And women face challenges in cancer battles. Stay with us.
number 2 na serre.
We allora subuli kurnambili. Borani batukara hambara binaranga. Total takinan na warungan ng Bula FM. Number 2 na serre. Bula!
Bula FM, number 2 na serre.
Child labour is a major concern for the Ministry of Employment. Minister Choneo Sumate says while conducting a consultation in the Northern Division last week, the issue arose of children not attending school but working instead. Ana Ravulo has more.
Child labour is a growing issue that the Ministry of Employment is trying to manage.
We believe that a child should have the opportunity that when a child is a child, that is a time for them to be educated. Educated, they get all the weapons or the things that will help them to earn more money when they are an adult.
Concerns have been raised with some youngsters not being in school.
Unfortunately, what is happening now in some cases, when children are supposed to be at school, learning all the education and the knowledge and the skills, they are already working. So if they start working early, they will never rise to the level of earning wages that they should get.
For Save the Children, we believe that children should be in school, and we have to look at the reasons why these children are working and are not in school. Right? So I think a bit of investigation has to be done on that part to find out what's the underlying reason that children are not attending school, so then those that can be addressed.
The minister said that one way to also manage child labour is to inform parents the effects of making their children work at a young age. Usamat is currently conducting consultations across the country to raise awareness on child labour and other issues as well. Ana Ravulo, FBC News.
Many women diagnosed with breast cancer turn to traditional and herbal treatment instead of going to a hospital for medical attention. The Fiji Cancer Society says this is due to the lack of support from family members, denial and financial difficulties. Kelly Vadala reports.
The Fiji Cancer Society says women diagnosed with the disease often live in fear and find it difficult to take themselves to hospital to receive treatment.
You need to consider their obligations, the social obligations they have towards their family, towards the community, towards the church, and for them making that decision to actually bring themselves to hospital for treatment, it's really difficult. You have those from the rural areas or peri-urban areas, those from the informal settlements that need assistance. So you're looking at the lower end of the socioeconomic scale.
Breast cancer survivor Asinathan Riso says it's important to get medical treatment as soon as when one tests positive and not to leave it to the last minute.
I've lived with regrets, but I've learned to overcome that, and I've learned to go through it because I have to live for my kids. I know there are other women out there who are going through the same thing as me, but they don't want to come out of their comfort zone.
Chan says breast cancer victims also need to speak out and share their stories with the public to help spread awareness.
At the end of the day, your story will make a huge impact on someone else's life.
More than 180 women registered under the Fiji Cancer Society are diagnosed with various types of cancer. FCS is urging all Fijians to support women who have cancer by creating awareness at work, school and at home this month. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
Women ministers, senior government representatives and civil society groups have gathered in Suva to discuss progress made on regional and global commitments made on gender equality. The theme for the 13th Triennial Conference of Pacific Women and the 6th Pacific Ministers for Women meeting is Pacific Women's Economic Empowerment. Minister for Women Meriseni Vuniwanga says they aim for an outcome which is Pacific-oriented.
Investing in women's economic empowerment sets a direct path towards gender equality, poverty eradication, and inclusive economic growth.
Turning to world news, police are working to establish the motive behind a mass shooting which left at least 59 people dead and another 527 injured at a Las Vegas concert this morning. Gunman Stephen Paddock, 64, opened fire from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel towards an open-air music festival, but as yet no clear reason for the killing has emerged.
In the cold Nevada desert, country music is warming the throng. The time is 8 minutes past 10. The noise prompts confusion. The crowd, 22,000 strong, hesitates. It takes a moment, a deadly moment, before they realise they are under attack. Panic follows. It is a scramble to live.
A gentleman that was shot, and he said, "Can you help me?" And so I put him in my car, and I had like 6 people in my car.
By now, the music fans are frantic. If they can, they run. And like this woman, they hide.
We were sitting ducks, and you could hear the bullets coming closer, and then it'd get quiet, and they would like reload, and then they'd start going again. And the girl that was standing right behind me, about 2 feet, she got a shot in the stomach, and everybody thought at first it was just firecrackers, and then everybody it just kept going more.
We started seeing the people that were shot and the people that were dead, and that's when it hit me that this was real.
Within half an hour, officers know the gunman is in the hotel. Explosives ready, they prepare to go in. This police radio recording captures the moment they storm the room.
I need everybody in that hallway to be aware of it and get back. We need to pop this and see if we get any type of response from this guy to see if he's in here or if he's actually moved out somewhere else.
By now it is nearly midnight and the gunman is dead, apparently having killed himself. He left the city in chaos, with hospitals overwhelmed and too few ambulances for more than 500 casualties. Hundreds of people remain in hospital, where surgeons have been battling to save life after life. As for the gunman, he was Stephen Paddock, a 64-year-old retired accountant from Mesquite, an hour's drive from the Vegas Strip. He checked into the hotel on Thursday.
As far as his history and background, we haven't completed that part of the investigation yet, but we located numerous firearms within the room that he occupied.
For a Western democracy, the United States has seen an astonishing amount of horror like this. But even here, this is carnage on a different scale.
Ahead in sports with Jamie, IDC fever is building up, but up next is Rachel with business.
Thanks, Jackie. Good evening, and coming up in business tonight. Reserve Bank remains upbeat. And in growing Fiji, villagers on Kadavu Island graduate. Stay with us.
I'm another of Whenever I want to tune in to listen to great music, I always tune in to my favorite radio station, Gold FM, only the classic.
My name is Lita. We love listening to Gold FM here at the Fiji Hideaway Resort and Spa. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
We here at Tano Waterfront Lautoka love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the
Welcome back. Leading business tonight. The Reserve Bank, in its latest economic review, has stated that the labour market conditions remain upbeat. The RBF Job Advert Survey shows a 15% annual increase in the number of jobs advertised in August. Jobs were mostly advertised in the wholesale and retail, trade and resorts, restaurants, hotels and community, social and personal service sectors. Furthermore, the June survey results indicated firms are optimistic about employment intentions in the medium term, with part-time job opportunities expected to rise. And Savanada is up next with the latest from the money markets.
Vinaka, let's look at the economic calendar for this week. This morning, the United States released its market manufacturing index for September, which increased from 53 to 53.1. The construction spending also saw an increase from negative 1.2% the previous month to 0.5%. This strong data saw the US dollar strengthen from yesterday by 5 basis points. In Europe, the producer price index for August is expected to increase from 2% to 2.3. Generally speaking, if consensus is correct, we could expect a stronger euro tomorrow against our Fijian dollar. Moving to Australia, the Reserve Bank is expected to keep its interest rate unchanged at 1.5%. Any change could cause volatility in the foreign exchange market against our Fijian dollar, as the Aussie dollar is the second most weighted currency in our currency basket. That's the market news for now. Vinaka.
Thanks, Savanatha. Now on to today's exchange rates and foreign currencies in the Fijian dollar. The Fijian dollar weakened against the Chinese yuan and the American dollar to close at 3.20 and 48 cents respectively. While closer to home, the Australian and New Zealand dollars strengthened to close at 61 and 66 cents and the PNG Kina closed at 1.35. As for the commodities market, a drop across the index today with oil prices closing at $50.57 a barrel. Gold was down to close at $1,270 per ounce and silver closed at $16.63 an ounce. And in growing Fiji tonight, Minister for Youth and Sports Lysenia Tutumbo officiated at the first Yavitu Training Centre graduation ceremony on Kandavu Island. Speaking to the 15 graduates of Carpenter General Class 3 course, Tutumbo stressed the need to prepare youths for the future. Minister Tutumbo highlighted that most of the times youths are just being used to run errands in the village. However, he states that this needs to change. The minister stressed that the training would not only assist youths in finding job and employment, but also encourage them to create jobs. And that was business this evening. Now to sports. Here's Jamie.
Thanks, Rachel, and good evening. In sports tonight, Lambasa football ropes in national reps ahead of IDC. And youngster eyes Mbati jumper. This and more after the break.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकु रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ। मिर्ची एफएम इज नंबर 1। इट्स सो हॉट।
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट।
हाय, मैं संध्या नारियल रेकी से मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट। आई लव मिर्ची एफएम।
हमें स्पिन टोटो ताबुआ के मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे।
मिर्ची एफएम इट्स हॉट।
National football reps Amani Makoe and Tsalen Reloa have joined their new team Lambasa to prepare for next week's Courts Inter-District Championship. Vasil Prasad reports that the Mbambasing Alliance newest reps and new coach has boosted morale in camp ahead of the IDC.
Lambasa will be a tough side to beat under the guidance of new coach Sefo Vosomboto at the Courts IDC.
There's a lot of improvement to be done, especially the build-up to finish and also the transition-wise when we attack and back in defense.
The inclusion of national team utilities Amani Makoe and Chalen Reloa has boosted the team's morale.
Well, it's a big advantage for us to have the two Fiji team reps, and it will be most likely there will be a good defending side and our attacking and our midfield.
It will be a tough journey being grouped with Ba, Rewa and Reketi.
I think the pool is very tough and playing in the western soil it will be very hard for us, but we are looking forward for the competition and we are looking forward for the first game.
Lambasa's first game against Ba will be a repeat of last year's final where they beat the Men in Blacks 2-1.
It will be tough because Ba is a good team as well, so we are looking forward for this tournament. I think it is tough for us.
The defending champions have won the IDC title 4 times and will not let it slip out of their hands at Lautoka's Churchill Park next week. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
Nasinu football president Jiten Reddy and Tailebu Naita series Sandip Roy will contest the Southern Division's vice president's post at the Fiji Football Association Congress next week. Reddy says he has a lot of plans for the division and is confident of a win. Meanwhile, 2 more vice president positions will be contested at the Congress in Lautoka next Friday.
I have a lot of plans in my pipeline, and once I am in, I will put a lot of proposals to the board for the betterment of football in the country. I have a lot of support. The entire northern districts, all the western districts, and all the southern districts have thrown their support behind me, except Netasiri.
Sembeto Roosters scrum half Joshua Rokovat Nabutoro will debut in the Battle of the Mbati Challenge this weekend as the youngest player in the Vodafone Fiji Residents Rugby League team. The 19-year-old caught the eyes of national selectors with a stellar performance in local competitions this season. Eroni Tuinuku reports.
To be given a chance to stake a claim in the Fiji Bati squad for the World Cup is an opportunity this youngster will never let go easily.
I would like to take the opportunity and I will do it well, and I'll never give up, and I'll do what that position, and I'll do the work that should be done in that position.
The youngster has impressed the coaching staff and stands a high chance of making the cut if he shines in the trials.
And, as you know, Fiji National Rugby League World Cup team is lack of dummy half, so this is one of the players that we try to groom for this upcoming game to showcase his talent for the Battle of the Mbati.
Meanwhile, Nandi Eels fullback Vereti Mbukavesi will face his greatest challenge playing against the top NRL stars.
I'm looking forward to fighting the position of fullback because this is my first time playing Fiji teams like Fiji resident. Looking forward to participate in the Fiji Bati.
The residents will face the overseas-based Mbati players this Saturday at the ANZ Stadium to determine the final squad to the Rugby League World Cup next month. Eroni Tuinuku, FBC Sports.
The Vodafone Flying Fijians remain in 9th position on the latest World Rugby rankings released today. Fiji is the only team from the Tier 2 division ranked in the top 10. Meanwhile, there is only one change in the top 3. South Africa slipping to 4th, while Ireland moves to 3rd place. New Zealand remains the world's #1 team. Discipline remains a major factor for the Fiji Airways Ndrua in the National Rugby Championship. The Ndrua has so far conceded 61 penalties and 4 yellow cards after 5 rounds of competition. Rohit Deo has more.
I tackle, but we really need to discipline ourselves on our defense and also on our attack.
Australian Rugby win for leading us in NRC competition, just to showcase our talent, the local boys.
Meanwhile, in the lone NRC match played yesterday, the New South Wales Country Eagles beat the Sydney Rays 26-17. The Fiji under-18 rugby side lost 29 points to 3 to its Australian counterparts in the school's Tri-Nations yesterday. The Fiji men's basketball team hopes to improve its performance after finishing 3rd in the Melanesian Cup last weekend. While the goal to gain Pacific Games qualification was achieved, they didn't finish as good as they hoped to. Former national rep turned coach Frank Saketa says the focus now moves to preparing for the next Pacific Games.
Regroup, look at some footage, find where our weaknesses lie, and then just move on from there. 2019 is a Pacific Games, so yeah, the plans, we've got tournaments coming up. We have things we have to lay out and then just try and work towards that.
That's it from Sports Tonight. Join Angie later on with weather. And in new media, the once giants of the mobile phone industry, BlackBerry, could be making its comeback. Details after the break.
Bula, kerong mai singatoka, kerong do talita kana varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Kombinasyon mo sekolah untuk talita na Radio Fiji 1 kena Domoy Viti.
Ayam ko aso sila tale. Nagurara may nawamanyi nandunga. Gitu talita gini ang gagawin na sabale po nagundurong. Barong na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti na honga ni BNN.
In your media, is the famous BlackBerry phone about to make a comeback? The company forced out of the smartphone market by Apple and Android smartphones saw its stock increase by 50% this year. And it's weather time now with Angie.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. Second day of the week and the weather is still fabulous. Nothing beats the amazing sunshine. Well, enjoy the sunny spells while it's around. Looking at the west, it was mostly cloudy and felt much cooler. What a day for a boat ride. Eastwards from Pakaba to Suva, a day of full sunshine, quite warm as well. And up north, it was so pleasant with some strong sunshine. Wish I was on vacation at this time. At sea, southeast winds 20 to 25 knots with rough seas. And for the tides, high tide tomorrow morning will be at 4:36 with low tide at 10:27. See the beauty of sunrise at 5:46. For tomorrow, it looks like the rainy spells that was forecasted has literally flew away. Great, even rain knows how much we adore our sunshine. Tomorrow's temps, the jet-set town Nandi will be the hottest with highs of 31 degrees. And looking further on to Thursday, a little change again, but there is indication of rain, but I'm pretty sure it will escape again. Well, fingers crossed. And that's all from the FBC Weather World. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. On Fiji on Pulse today, we asked, should bus drivers who do not stop at bus bays be penalised?
Yeah, they should be prosecuted because many passengers, they just go for work in school.
In my opinion, I think the bus drivers should be taken to task because they are the ones driving. So they are the ones that make the decision. If they don't want to stop, we go to work late and we get into trouble. If the bus don't want to stop at the bus base, then I think the drivers should be taken to task.
Recapping the main stories, LTA issues stern warning to bus industry. Fijian economy hit hard by NCDs and unions ready to hold talks. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question this week, we are asking, do you think e-ticketing makes bus travel more efficient? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, our shot of the day, this picture of the famous picnic spot of Wailalor Beach in Nandi, sent in by Iswina Chia. We'd like to encourage all our viewers to send in more pictures of our beautiful Fiji. All you have to do is email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That was your FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, have a safe and enjoyable evening. Good night.
Keron mai singatoka, keron do tali taka na varorong na radio Fiji 1 and do moi viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Uti kami na sa mga sekolah do tali taka na radio Fiji 1 kina do moi viti.
Kaya kuya sila tali, nagurara may nawamanyi, nandunga. Gitu tali tagi yang gitu kena sebalik nagudurong. Barong na radio Fiji 1 nando moi viti.
Na radio Fiji 1 nando moi viti na bonga ni BNN.